Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans. Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans.
Oh yeah! Shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans.
shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
Lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Lies, shenanigans. Truth, 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 lies, shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
Lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Hey guys, it's Truth Lies Shenanigans, the live show, back once again. My name is Neo, and today I'll be your guide through all the shenanigans. My co-host for today's show, the always thought-provoking Lizzie,
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday Fun Day.
the very charismatic Jam,
Hi, I'll be riding the lies as Antonio corrals the shenanigans.
and the often spirited Z.
I'm spirited about everything but sports. Happy Sunday.
No sports for Z. All right, for today's show, our host will be talking about AOC and her scathing response to misogynistic attacks. Draymond Green questions why Canadian team cares about Black Lives Matter. A Native American team gets ousted from a tournament, and Biden's gaffes strike again. Now remember, our show is live just about everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitter at TLS Live Show. Please share, retweet, get the word out. And if you do share today's show on your Facebook feed or retweet it on Twitter, please let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely shout you guys out. And as always, we love it when you join the conversation. You can comment on any of our live feeds. I will be listening and responding. That'll be Jam. So, hosts, are you ready for a great show?
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right. I wanted to ask, how are you guys doing this weekend? Are you Are you guys getting out and about, or are you just kind of stuck in the house still?
I'm
I have
happy to
not.
report that
Go ahead, Z.
I've been out. I went for drinks up the street with a friend of mine. We tried to social distance as well as we could, but we wore our masks. And I finally saw my family yesterday, who I
Oh,
haven't seen
nice.
since March. So hey, listen, I don't think COVID's going away anytime soon. So we got to learn to live with this.
That's right. Lizzie, what you doing?
Again, I went across the street to CVS and to Safeway, and that was it. That's
A busy weekend.
Big step.
Jam, how was your weekend?
I had to. I cracked the rim on my car like all the way, the full like circumference. It's impressive.
Wow.
The plumbing needed to be snaked. That's always a great job.
Move
Was
like a
dressed
snake. Hey.
something like that. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You?
Busy weekend. Yeah, I had a busy weekend too. I didn't do too much, but yeah, mostly working on getting ready for the show. But I did learn how to change a capacitor on my air conditioning.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
how'd that go for you? How
It went
excited
well,
you?
actually. It worked out. I was surprised I was actually able to do it. But
Capacitor.
When you said that, it made me think of Back to the Future, the
the
flux,
flux
capacitor.
capacitor, yeah.
Like you try to go back in time. That's cool.
All right, so let me tell you guys what Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans is all about. We'll be sharing our truths and opinions with you, calling out the lies, and pointing out the shenanigans going on. And on this show, we try to have some fun with shenanigans of our own. But okay, one rule for our hosts: no cussing.
cuss as much as you like.
No-
Cuss
no.
as much as
No Spanish. No Spanish. Oh wait, sorry, wrong show. Wrong show.
If you're caught cussing, there's a $10 penalties. And if you guys are caught cussing 3 times in the same show, our viewers will call you out, and you'll be writing a love letter to Mr. Clown
He wrote me
himself.
beautiful letters. And they're great letters. We fell
That's a
in love.
sexy MF right there.
Now, of course, the $10, we see where Lizzie is. I mean, Neo's next in line, and Jam, you've done pretty good, for the entire show.
I got it in line.
One
I got
cuss
it in
word.
line. I
Do you
got it in
remember what the
line.
cuss word was?
cheater,
I said
cheater,
Trump.
pump.
I think I
So-
said Trump too many times. And then-
And Z, you're doing good yourself. Now, we haven't decided where the cussing pot's going to yet, but it's going to go to a very deserving charity, not Lizzie.
Not keeper of the Remy. Not keeper of the Remy.
All right, guys, we always start our show with a random question so our viewers can get to know you a little bit better. So here's your question. Let's go back in time a month before coronavirus, and you were told the virus was coming. You have 1 week to visit any place on Earth, all expenses paid. Where are you going and why?
Easy.
Easy, good, Z, then.
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Montego
Jamaica.
Bay. Because
Anywhere in the world, Jamaica?
Yes, because I already had a trip paid for and planned in full. It was my birthday gift to my husband. We were supposed to go July 3rd to the 11th or something, or July 1st to the something. It was like 7 nights. And of course, we weren't able to go. So in hindsight, I would have gone in February if I could have.
All right. Jan, where would you go?
I think it's those Bali. I think it's that spot where they have like the huts on the water, and like you can look down to like the middle of the floor and see the fish and all that.
That is
Yeah.
Bali. Uh-huh.
I'm already there. I'm there in my mind. Excuse me.
Where you going, Lizzie? No coronavirus. You got 1
You
week.
said February, right? So even though in February this place is still probably has like 1.5 feet of snow on the ground, and it's maybe -10 degrees, I'm going to Finland. I'm going to see my Finns because as of right now, the EU, Finland is a part of the EU. The EU is no longer accepting visitors, travelers, tourists from.
Yeah.
I
Totally
don't
makes
know
sense,
when
too.
I'll be able to go see my Finns again, and I do miss my quality time. I miss the sauna. I miss all the vodka shots. I miss all the good food. So yes, I would be going to Finland for sure.
All right. And
Well,
me,
now listen, we
Rebecca's
can hook you up with some vodka shots.
That's where I learned how to drink vodka. That's where I learned.
I just want to see the pyramids of Egypt. I just want to see them. I know it's probably nothing special. It probably is, but
It's cool. It's cool.
I'm just saying it's sometimes you get places and you're like, okay, it's just this. But
The White House.
Well,
but I'd love to see the pyramids of Egypt. That's one of the
not the
big things
same.
I'd like to see.
So Rebecca HS is in Australia right now, and Kevin Thaxton is in Mallorca.
Oh, nice,
Mallorca, been there.
Hey.
nice.
Or
Okay.
LOL.
Hello.
depending on when you ask him.
Sounds like fun places. All right.
When did he go to Mallorca?
I don't know.
How did he
No, I
get?
guess that's where he would. Isn't
That's
that
where
where
he
he
would
would
go.
go?
That's where he's mentally. That's where he would go.
That's where he mentally is right now. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
in February, that's where he was.
Gotcha.
All right. All right, great. So now on to our hot topics, guys. Real quick, how the show works. Each host comes up with hot topics they want to discuss, mostly based on discussions with you, the viewers, online, or our Facebook page, or personal pages, or they just talk about whatever they want. I'll pick one of the hosts to start us off. They'll tell us what's going on, ask a question to the other co-host, and we'll start the timer for discussion. We'll just talk it out after that. And once time is up, you'll see, as Z calls him, Gingy. And Gingy will let us know that time is up. During the conversation, move on to the next host and talk about whatever they want to talk about. Now remember, your comments and questions do help drive the conversation, so comment away. All right, so today, let's start out with Lizzie.
Woohoo.
So as we know, our NBA season is about to start. It officially starts on July 30th. But right now, the players are all down in Orlando, Florida, in the bubble. They're quarantined from everyone, even though we just had a player come out of quarantine to go to the script club in Atlanta. But
Who was that?
on the way to the team facilities where they're practicing and everything, a lot of teams have put Black Lives Matter on the side of their team buses. And so on a TNT show last week, Draymond Green, who plays for the Warriors, sat down with Charles Barkley and with the GM from the Toronto Raptors, and they were talking about Black Lives Matter. And Draymond asked the GM for the Raptors this question.
You guys have on your bus Black Lives Matter, and as a Canadian team, it doesn't directly impact your team because you're in an entirely different country. What made you guys take the stand and put it on your bus? I think one of, 22 teams that actually went through with it. Where did the idea come from, and why did you guys feel the need to push that through?
Hey, Mom.
My question to the panel is Black Lives Matter only for Black Americans, for people in America? Can Canadians claim Black Lives Matter? Should Canadians be thinking about Black Lives Matter, or is this just an issue that belongs in America? We can start with Jam, you can go.
Thank you. There are only blacks in America, so as a result, it does not affect any. Once you leave the America, there aren't black. There's browns, there's greens, maybe yellows.
It's colored.
Yes, there's several different colored. Like no blacks though. So that's why. I'm done.
Z.
No, I think that's so dumb, honestly. Like, didn't the whole world come out and protest with us? With us as a country when George Floyd was murdered? They weren't Americans. Were we like, ew, why are you protesting for us? Like, what? That's so dumb. I think that if the more people who have huge platforms, the more entities that have huge platforms that reach millions of people, that gets the message out there. What does it matter who it comes from? Like, and this goes back to our discussion a couple of weeks ago of what constitutes Black. What is Black? Like, I think at this point it's a human rights issue, and it just so happens to be the human rights of Black people, and the whole world should be behind this. I don't, man, give me a break. I thank you for putting it on your bus. Represent.
All right. So here's my take. I mean, Draymond, it sounded to me like Draymond was, I don't know, like he wasn't prepared. So I don't know that he thought his question through all the way. It felt like he kind of like, I don't know. I have a feeling that after the show, somebody pointed out to him, and he was one of those people who was like, "Oh, dang, that was just stupid." I know, but some people just aren't used to like being on TV, because Draymond, he does his little interviews after his games and everything, and he kind of just does it off the cuff. But a real interview like we do and stuff like that. I mean, there's been plenty of times where I know after the show, I'm looking at something and I'm like, that was just a dumb thing to say. So I believe that Draymond looked at that and was like, that was just stupid.
Well, one, I think personally that it's kind of reflective of how Americans view themselves, not just Black Americans, but Americans in general. We tend to have tunnel vision. We tend to believe that everything that happens in this country is exclusive to this country, and it doesn't affect anyone else anywhere. And like Jam said, it gives you the idea that there are no Black people in Canada, that there are only Black people in America. Affects Americans. And so one of the Toronto Raptors, that's the defending NBA champions, one of their players, tweeted out to Draymond, "Hold on, man. So for all Black Canadians, it doesn't directly affect us. Aren't we all fighting the same thing? Racism is everywhere. I respect you, brother, but we go through our battles too." So I think that, is again reflective of how people outside of America kind of view us as kind of selfish and just kind of one-sided when it comes to certain issues. But I guarantee you that, Canadian Black people in Canada, or people of color in Canada, or
Canadian.
Draymond.
That's where I wanted to go
Canada.
in February. Canada.
people of color in Canada and Canada, but also all around the world, have been coming out in support of Black Lives Matter. There have been murals in other, foreign countries, the Black Lives Matter mural. So would he say then to people in Africa that they have no right to, especially let's say take South Africa, for example, that went through a country that went through years of apartheid, and now they are saying Black Lives Matter. Does that not apply to them as well? Because this is supposedly an American issue. So like Neo said, I think, sometimes, like I just did with Canada, sometimes Draymond gets a little tongue-tied. But then I think sometimes he just says foolish stuff that really thought out too much.
I think it wasn't thought out. I really think he didn't really think the question out. I mean, it was a valid question. He was asking a valid question. Basically, he was trying to ask, he was saying that he felt that it wasn't a significant thing in Canada. It's obviously a big thing. The protests are really huge here and things like that. So he's saying that, since it's a big thing right now in the U.S., it's not a big thing there. What gave you then? What inspired you to put it on your bus? Versus,
aren't they driving through the U.S.? Aren't they coming into the U.S.?
Yeah.
And don't they have
They're here?
Most
he was
of
trying to get.
Yeah.
He was just trying to get confirmation, and he was trying to get something a positive response. That was his way of trying to garner.
He was trying to get clicks. He was trying to get clicks and social media attention, because that's some dumb stuff.
My take on what he said was a little different.
Completely different. I was going to be like, oh my God, $10.
I thought she said something.
My take on what he said was a little bit different. Because when he said was only one of 22 teams to make that decision for the Raptors, my take was he was sort of commenting on the fact that there weren't other teams stepping up. And so instead, I think he was trying to make
Yes.
how he delivered it.
Distinction.
But he was trying to be like, y'all stood up where no one else stood up. He just did not put it as eloquently
Right.
as most people who speak the English might have.
Right. So that's how I feel. Jam, you put it. He was just trying to make a distinction, but he just didn't do it well. He
Right.
just made that. Yeah. But he does say some stupid stuff a lot.
Well, maybe we'll never know.
Which is why I don't think he was being as thoughtful as Jam is insinuating. I'd like to defend Jam, but as it pertains to Draymond, I don't think he's there yet.
Wait, hold on. Draymond, give my money. Now, as I was saying, Draymond was. But,
So yeah, but I mean, Z, would you care to elaborate on him just wanting clicks?
It did sound like she said. I had to listen twice. It did sound like something else.
I mean,
He said, "Listen, look. I think a lot of people do it. I think we could. I know I've done it here on this very show. You say things for the likes. You say things for not the likes, but the attention. Hey, I said something crazy and it's attracting. That's really what I think, because somebody could have told him, could have checked his script.
I got Corona groupies. I mean, I do it from all my groupies out there. They might be disease ridden.
That's right.
but
That's right. That's right.
Sorry.
No, I think he could have had someone check his notes before he went on the air.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what he should have done. All right. So we got anything online, Jam?
Oh, we got a bunch of stuff online. We got Kevin, puppet question. Rebecca, no and yes. They should. The whole world has to stand up for the world's people. And Chris, watching from Connecticut right now, on his way to Maine, with nothing but love for Jay. Thank you, Chris.
Oh God, really?
Ooh, get out of here.
Let's take a moment to appreciate that.
You better send me some notes, Jeff. If you're watching, I know you're watching. You better send me some love too.
All right.
Oh my God.
All right, great. So let's move on to the next one. Let's go to Z. We've got a really good one with Z.
Yay. Let me take out my notes. All right, so as we all know, this week, Representative Yoho.
Sorry, let me ask you, truth, lies, or shenanigans?
Oh, this is a truth wrapped in shenanigans that should have been nipped in the bud decades ago, at the beginning of the feminism movement, for goodness sake. All right. So
I wasn't ready for all that truth.
Hey, that was some truth. I'm dropping bombs. So Representative Yoho was reportedly heard by a reporter calling Representative Ocasio-Cortez a effing bitch. I was gonna say it, but I don't want to get charged money. No, effing bitch, quote unquote. And this was on the steps of the Capitol, and this was due to her belief that poverty is tied to crime. Like, the reason there's an uptick in crime is because people are poor, they're suffering. This kicked off another week of non-apology tour, another non-apology tour where Yoho, A, denied even saying it, B, claimed he doesn't apologize for loving his God, which, what does that have to do with being a misogynistic a-hole? I don't know. And C, and C had the nerve. Exactly. What's up to God? I hate women. Okay. And C had the nerve to hide his misogyny behind his daughters, behind the fact that he's a father and a husband. So,
can I give you a D to that as well? He also didn't say her name in the apology. Never mentioned her name.
Thank you. Right? So, Ocasio-Cortez responded by giving this impassioned speech that Neo is going to play for us.
Representative Yoho put his finger in my face. He called me disgusting. He called me crazy. He called me out of my mind. Representative Yoho called me, and I quote, a fucking bitch. It is a culture of lack of impunity, of accepting of violence and violent language against women, in an entire structure of power that supports that. Because not only have I been spoken to disrespectfully, particularly by members of the Republican Party and elected officials in the Republican Party, not just here, but the President of the United States last year, the Governor of Florida, Governor DeSantis, before I even was sworn in. This is a pattern of an attitude towards women and dehumanization of others. I could not allow my nieces, I could not allow the little girls that I go home to, I could not allow victims of verbal abuse and worse to see that and to see our Congress accept it as legitimate. I am 2 years younger than Mr. Yoho's youngest daughter. I am someone's daughter too. My father, thankfully, is not alive to see how Mr. Yoho treated his daughter. My mother got to see Mr. Yoho's disrespect on the floor of this house towards me on television. And I am here because I have to show my parents that I am their daughter and that they did not raise me to accept abuse from men.
Powerful statement.
So,
Very powerful.
historically, very powerful. Historically, when women are victim to this type of behavior from men, they're expected to turn the other cheek or take the higher road. For example, Michelle Obama, when they go low, you go high. Hillary Clinton has been called all kinds of names. Am I cut off? Can you still hear me?
No,
Yeah, we
I
hear
was
you.
saying not. I was saying not
Okay,
me. I
okay.
don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, but
I go
Hillary
with lower.
Clinton.
I go with it lower.
Oh, me too. But
Mhm.
Hillary Clinton has been called every name, she has been called out of her name. It doesn't matter whether you agree with her or not. The way that woman has been disrespected and so many other women. And, my question to you guys is, should women have to continue turning the other cheek, or should this become the new social movement, the new #MeToo, for women standing up for their right to not be degraded, to not be gaslighted, to not be abused, So should we go high and keep ignoring it and just keep letting our worth prove itself? Or is it time to start calling out these transgressions publicly every time they happen?
Jam?
I'll go to you, Lizzie.
And
Or
Lizzie,
Jam.
she
Yeah, I'll go
called
to
you out,
Jam.
Lizzie. Let's do it.
All right.
I,
Go ahead.
I think this is kind of a call to arms to women, if you will, across this country. As Z pointed out, we have historically been put in positions where we are told that, boys will be boys. This is just locker room talk. This is just how we refer to each other in jest, if you will. And that as women, we need to have thicker skin, not just thick skin, but thicker skin to deal with how men treat us. I think one thing that is very poignant about this entire incident, even before he started using profane language to address her, for me, the idea that he approached her as she was walking away. So she was walking down, not engaging anyone, minding her business. And for him and his colleague, Representative Williams, to roll up on her the way they did, a young woman, is appalling. It's like she said, he has a daughter that is around her age. And what a lot of other senators online, once this came out, male congressmen pointed out that they too shared some of the same sentiments about crime and poverty that AOC shared. They posted it on Twitter. Never once did he approach them. Never once did he yell at them. Never once did he roll up on them. And that's because they're men. He knew better. But for a woman, he felt entitled. He felt like, okay, I can get her because she is the weaker sex and she's not going to respond to me. So I think as women, we have to start, pulling up our sleeves, taking off our earrings, getting that Vaseline, and just, demanding respect. Especially, these are elected officials. How dare you act like that on the steps of the Capitol? How dare you act like that?
Can I just add, if this was a private company, he would be fired. So I don't know why this is acceptable in government.
Absolutely.
This,
Absolutely.
I look at this as a slightly larger issue. Like there is you guys remember the bicyclist that we highlighted a little bit ago who stopped the kids on the trail when they're putting up the Black Lives Matter signs? Remember that?
Yes.
It was a white male, and he primarily focused on the two young ladies he was yelling at. It's an attitude. Separately, it's an attitude of, like you said, man versus woman, more effectively or more specifically, man versus like I can do anything to this structure, this object that I've created.
Younger
Now,
than Mr. Yoho.
I have more to say to that as it comes to we have a societal issue where we have issues with addressing women and how we deal with women and that comfort level and
Mr.
strength of
Yoho's
character. And to that end,
What was that?
I'm hearing a voice kind of weird. But my point is simply that until we learn to deal with that, and then we take that step back, that our political leaders, like Liz said, have no business at all coming out their mouth sounding crazy toward anyone. Like they are, like part of what they do is represent America as an institution that is above all the bullshit. I got myself this 20.
$10.
So anyway, that's what I got to say. It was in a quote. I was reading a quote. Anyway.
We can't quote each other. We can't quote each other.
So, but that's it. Got me all fired up.
Yeah. Sorry about that noise. That was me. I was queuing this up. So I just want to replay this part because this is the most poignant part to me personally. This is the kind of thing that hit me.
I am 2 years younger than Mr. Yoho's youngest daughter.
Yeah.
Representative Yoho put his finger in my face.
All right.
Youngest daughter. I am someone's daughter too.
So that's the part that really kind of hit me was, you know, she's someone's daughter too. I mean, you got to start looking at that like that. I mean, so Yoho put his daughters on display, and his daughter and his wife, and said, "Hey, you know, I have my wife, my daughter. I treat women with respect. Blah 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 blah." But, you know, he doesn't. He doesn't treat women with respect. And she says, and you can see the full clip on our Facebook page. But she says later, you know, she showed that, you know, you can have a daughter, you can have a wife, and still treat women with disrespect. And, you know, and that's what Yoho showed. So, you know, if he's going to flaunt his daughter and his child, he needs to start treating other people like they're other people's children. And I don't know, that hit me the hardest. That hit me that was the biggest thing. And then she was talking about her dad, and her dad didn't have to see that, which was great. But her mom had to see that type of behavior. And I mean, like I said, that's what hit me the most with her. And I don't think we should be treating women like that.
Can I just add
there's
very
also the
quickly?
religion. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's a Christian.
Oh God.
He's a big time
Yeah,
Christian.
and I wanted to add, I wanted to actually quote Jacqueline Robinson. Hey, girl, I loved
Not so
your I loved your comment when you said, when calling a woman out her name while professing Jesus and hiding behind your wife and daughters skirts has consequences. And I was like, wow. And this is supposed to be a man of God, a man of religion, who, by the way, had to step down, had to resign from his Christian organization because they were like, you can't be running your mouth out. You can't be saying that mess and then trying to hide behind the church because we're not supposed to represent that.
I'll pause the timer for a second. Lizzie, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you know, as it relates to me being a woman in my relationships, and I have several friends who are in domestic violence situations. Okay, several young ladies. And the first thing that I always say to them is, notice how I'm very sensitive about how people approach me and talk to me. I'm not even talking about the physical violence. I don't let people speak to me disrespectfully. I don't let people come out of their mouth to me any kind of way. Even, you know, when I'm kind of, you know, on our TLS webpage on Facebook, when I see, you know, the comments get a little testy, get a little vulgar, I check that. Like we're adults. We are expected to be respectful of one another, but particularly towards women. And there is no way that I would be in a relationship or I would let a coworker address me with that type of vulgarity and get away with it. I'm very sensitive at how people approach me. As adults, we can have disagreements. We can be on opposite sides of the coin, opposite ideologies, but it shouldn't have to come down to immediate disrespect and blatant misogyny and blatant I'm going to get you. I'm going to impose my male privilege, my white privilege onto you. So yeah, I ladies, if you're watching, be careful about how people speak to you. That's where it starts. That's where you start to
Yes.
get the power.
All right.
You
Damn, we
got a
got
few
30
comments?
seconds.
All right.
Did you want?
George Villarreal. I don't remember if other GOP politicians disavowed Yoho, but they don't have a track record of calling out disrespect and racism. AOC is always so sharp and prepared. Rebecca, yeah, that cut deep about her father. George, right from the top, 45 is infamous for misogyny. GOP lapdogs don't even flinch.
Yes.
Mel, call them out every single time. Ernest,
Every
he's a
single
coward. Kevin, he should be impeached for his improper and gentlemanlike actions. If a general can get relieved for calling a reporter sweetheart, then he should be removed for conduct unbecoming a U.S. senator.
Actually, I agree
Yes.
with that. I wish we had that on like tape or something, but I agree with that. I mean, I agree that he should be, he potentially, at least he should have some type of ethics violations or something.
Some type of censure or something.
Yeah.
Something.
All right.
And Joyce, take the silence out of domestic violence. Tell.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Jam. Truth, lie, or shenanigan?
Oh, this is a shenanigan, and maybe with some truth rolled in. And this is the reason my friend Chris tuned in to this particular one. He's up in Maine. He is a leader. He's a Native American leader up there. Chris, I don't know what your official title is, but get him. So, what this is about, Paul, is and I'm going to mispronounce this. Chris, write me hate mail later. The Haudenosaunee Nation, which includes the Iroquois Indians, all right? So, and a few other groups, I do believe, they issue their own passports and operate as a separate nation, at least somewhat. Here's what's up. The Iroquois Nationals, one of their lacrosse teams, the Iroquois are known, or the Haudenosaunee Nation is known for having created the game of lacrosse back in the day, back in the day. They placed third in the World Games. Now keep this in mind. Just like all of our other competitions, you score high enough, you go on to like the master competition. Master competition's coming up. The World Games are coming up. But they are not allowed to go. And they are not allowed to go because they are not being considered an independent nation. They exist inside Canada, but they're not being considered an independent nation. So they have a request out to all the other nations who are playing, Great Britain, Ireland, Japan, United States, Czech Republic, Israel, New Zealand, to unite in support behind them and step back from that final competition. Now, my question for you guys, so again, they placed third. Their women's team won out. Like, these are not teams to be scoffed at. They're not like watching me or some of these other people here on this show run a lap or two in the gym.
Hey, wait a
We're
minute.
not talking that level.
Hey, man.
Hey,
what are
don't
you
put
talking
me in
about?
that.
What are you talking about?
So they have received. So the question is, should they? Because this technically would allow them to be considered in the future under the Olympic Charter to participate as the Iroquois Nation in the Olympic Games. And so this is why they're being excluded, because they're not their own nation. So the question is, should they be considered a nation?
Oh. I mean,
They exist in Canada. They exist in America. But we call them these nations. They have treaties signed, but they don't, it's
let me
like,
ask you, do they have a reservation? Do they have reservations for the Iroquois specifically?
I am not quite sure how Canada sets things up, which is where this particular issue comes up.
So it's in Canada. That's the problem. This is not
they're
US.
the team in
Okay.
Canada.
Blame Canada.
Another question.
Blame Canada.
But it's a question. It's a rule question according to the World Lacrosse. Is that they're not considering them a nation, although clearly they are called the I will not pronounce the name again to get rocks thrown at me nation, and so if they are recognized, I believe they're recognized by the country, and they're recognized to play in the non-IC qualified events, like Olympic qualified events. Should they be allowed to play, or do you think
as a separate nation, even though they're part
separate?
of Canada.
Yeah.
I'll jump in. I mean, my answer is going to be, I don't know. I don't know that I have enough information. I just think that, Canada has treated natives differently than the U.S. I mean, in terms of they're sort of a part of the country, whereas the U.S., of course, did set up some reservations for certain nations, and they're considered separate nations. So I would believe that. Go ahead.
Chris did throw in real quick. He said they travel the world on their own passports, not U.S. or Canadian, but their own Haudenosaunee passports.
Okay.
And they are honored internationally. Their Iroquois territories are on both sides of the border.
Oh, then it seems simple to me. Yes, and absolutely. Given that information, absolutely, they should be on their own country.
You can't change the rules of the game once the game has started. Like if they're playing in all of these preliminary tournaments and being accepted there, then you can't say, okay, once we get to like the big deal, that okay, no, we're no longer recognizing them as a nation. So I don't know what the impetus is here, what the purpose is here, except that maybe, they don't want to get beat down again by, this particular nation or what have you. But you have to be consistent. And my question is, when are we, not just Americans, but Canadians, the world, when are we going to take our foot off of the Native American neck? Like it's just, repeatedly, we keep stomping on them, keep, denying them their rights, denying them their land, telling them that they're not equal, they're not, a part of this nation, that nation, whatever. You can't have it both ways. Like if you are talking about a group that has, like your friend Chris said, that has its own passport, why would they have their own passport if they weren't a separate designated nation?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin did throw in Russia and China will recognize them just to spite Canada and NATO.
I'm curious about something. Like you said, why is it that they can play in all of these preliminaries, but then when they get to the big show, suddenly there's a problem? Like, is it one of those things where they have to pay to play, and then they get money back if they make it to the finals? Like, why?
Do we know?
To draw a parallel, I mean, DC is allowed to vote. Our representative can vote in all the smaller groups, but the minute they step onto the congressional floor and they're out of committee, all of a sudden, Eleanor Holmes Norton, her vote means nothing. It's magic.
You gotta go home, Eleanor. You gotta go home.
We have somebody in the back for you.
Ruben, one of our our co-hosts, he says if Puerto Rico can have its own team, U.S. citizens, then the Iroquois can too. That's his opinion.
Ooh, Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory, which is a part of the United States.
Right. I think that colonizers are always going to find a way to, delegitimize other people, non-whites, hey, I'm speaking truth. This is truth, lies, and shenanigans. I'm calling it out.
Lizzie. As women, you don't understand, so I'm going to explain this to
you. It must be that time of the month. It must be that time of the month because I'm too emotional. I'm so mad.
I'm glad you said that. Because if Jam had said that, if Jam had said anything close to that, it would have been a totally different reaction.
That's right. It would be over.
Jam would be canceled.
We have a new woman host. Listen, they will try anything. You already know what it is. It's kind of like when you get into an HOA that's, predominantly white, and all of a sudden they let you in but now your mailbox is the problem. Your lawn is the problem. Oh, you can't have a 1985 car in your driveway. That's a problem. We all know what
Do
it
you,
is. This is
do you live in New York?
I
Do you live in
sure
New
do.
York? That's
She's
it.
a
I
New York.
sure do.
That's a New
She's
York
in the
problem.
boogie down. She's in the boogie down. Okay, she's
That's right.
representing.
Yeah. But you know how it is. It's that constant goalpost moving. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not surprising. And I say, why do they even participate anymore? Like, what's at stake? Why would they even want to? I guess. I mean, I know you said
Well,
that this was a game that they founded and all, but
I
can't
think
they
it was.
kind of separate and
He was saying that they
do
can
their
get into
own
the
thing?
Olympics based upon this particular tournament.
Oh,
They're trying to qualify the tournament itself, as I understand it, to be in the Olympics. So this is the world final tournament. As I don't know the full process of becoming an Olympic event, but they're part of that process of becoming that. So this is right now. This is the equivalent of that competition, and then they use the Olympic rules. So that's
So it would
part of
probably be the equivalent of, how we have U.S. national tournaments to qualify for the Olympics. It would probably be considered the Canadian national lacrosse tournament to qualify, for the Olympics. So
It's being
yeah.
held in Alabama. If anybody wants to go, it's going to be in Alabama.
ew.
2021. 2021. They moved it because this year's the weather's bad.
Nobody wants to go to Alabama.
Why would? Yeah. I'm not trying to go on no plantation tours. Good.
All right.
All right. Well, let me. Chris threw in again. Settler colonialism decided indigenous populations are not sovereigns. History of the world. Jacqueline Robinson is watching.
Hey girl.
Let's see.
You missed my
It's
shout
part
out.
of their culture. It's part of their culture. The peacemaker story of their cultures teaches that playing the game pleases the creator more than war.
Mm.
And we got for comment.
All right.
Ah,
All right. Nice. Jam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I just give a piece of breaking news very quickly, since we are talking about race and protest and our president? So just came off the wire that President Trump says he won't throw out the first pitch at the next Yankees game. Announcement made a day after two Yankees players, Giancarlo Stanton and Hicks, kneeled during the anthem yesterday. So he's pissed that players are showing him up. They are kneeling in games across the country. So now he's refusing to throw out the first pitch at the Yankees opening day.
Time out. I think
we're
he's
so
really
sad.
not throwing the first pitch because he has small hands. He probably can't even grip that ball. Like, let me not even embarrass myself. So whatever, small hands.
We are so
Didn't Fauci
sad.
already throw didn't Fauci already throw a game opening pitch for somebody?
Yeah, for the Nationals.
For the Nationals
Yeah.
Yankees game, I guess they had invited Trump to come up to New York to Yankee Stadium to throw out the pitch for their home opener, and now he's saying he won't do it because the players had the nerve to kneel in, with the national players.
Whatever. He also canceled his rally in Jacksonville, Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's sad too. We're all gonna cry. I think we're all gonna cry.
Let me get my
It's
tissues.
sad. That would have been a good chance for infection. So it is sad. He could have gotten some voters out. But hey, oh well. Just have to figure something.
All right. So okay, is this a truth?
Yeah.
So it's my turn. This is a truth, lie, shenanigan. This is lies and shenanigans. Definitely lies and shenanigans. All right. So Lizzie's boy Biden, Joe Biden.
Joe.
It's your boy, the presumptive Democratic nominee for president, this week made another one of his signature gaffes, where he said this.
What President Trump has done in going his spreading of racism, the way he deals with people based on the color of their skin, their national origin, where they're from, is absolutely sickening. No sitting president has ever done this. Never, never, never. No Republican president has done this. No Democratic president. We've had racists, and they've existed. They've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has. And the way he pits people against one another is all designed to divide the country, divide people, not put them together.
Makes me sad.
Bless his heart.
Makes me sad. And
Bless
of course,
his heart. Bless his heart.
now, of course, we've all heard the criticisms that Trump was far from the first racist president. We know that. And of course, we've had lots of people, including myself, try to put his comments into a different context. But of course, as I said, we know he was incorrect in his statement completely. But I don't want to focus on Biden's obvious mistake.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, but I just don't want to do that simply because I don't want to negatively impact anything having to do with getting the hell Trump out of office. So, but in that vein, my question to you guys is, who was the most racist president? Is it Trump, or do you have someone else in mind that you think was worse?
Ooh.
Okay, Jam.
Okay.
Jam.
Okay, who's gonna go?
I get first?
You go first.
There's so many to choose from.
There are a lot to choose from. So go ahead, Jam.
Okay, well here's the quote I like. This is a quote not from the person but about the person. One colored clerk who could not actually be segregated on account of the nature of his work and who consequently had a cage built around him to separate him from his white companions of many years. That's right. Black people who couldn't logistically be separated were put in cages, literally. Does anybody know who that president was?
Who that
That's
be?
right.
Who that be?
If you went to Wilson, he's your man.
Woodrow Wilson was a straight racist.
If you can't segregate him, cage him.
Z isn't included in this because she's from New York, but Neo and Jam, myself, East, we all went to the same high school
Reuben,
here in Washington State.
Dr.
Reuben,
D.
Avi, Woodrow Wilson High School. Woodrow Wilson. Woo, 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 woo.
I forgot to wear my Triple K outfit, but I'll wear it one of these days. So. Who you guys got?
Let's go with
I have
Lizzie.
Andrew Jackson.
Oh, so we all agree.
I picked him too.
And I think for me, Andrew Jackson is the most egregious because one, he is currently on one of our U.S. currency notes. Okay, so he's being celebrated that way. But also, too, he was an ethnic cleanser. He tried to wipe out the entire Native American nation.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't believe me, look up Trail of Tears. But he made no excuses for it. This wasn't something that he was saying, under his breath. This was something that he was advocating. He owned slaves. I believe he owned at one time over 150 slaves. And so I don't know where Uncle Joe Biden, was in his mind mentally when he was talking about Trump. But if you think about it, if you look at the history of Andrew Jackson, how does he not qualify as a racist? How on earth does he? He was he started the movement to nullify a nation of people in this country and was very successful in doing that in parts of the South. And it wasn't for, his personal edification. He believed that if he got rid of Native American population in the South, then he could promote white supremacy there. And so for me, Andrew Jackson, 100%. 100%.
All right. Z, did you have some comments on that?
Oh, yeah. I actually have a few comments. So because you already went there, I agree with you, Lizzie. It's Andrew Jackson. And I actually remembered reading an article before the last election. It was in the Huffington Post, actually listing the top 10 most racist presidents in the United States. And I actually looked for that article for this segment. And I remembered why. So Andrew Jackson is actually very similar to Trump.
Yep.
Okay, so check this out. So number one, like Trump, Jackson was a wealthy Tennessean. He owned slaves, all of that. But just like Trump, he appealed to uneducated, poor white men. Okay, that was his base, and it was it was to inflame them. Like, the reason why you're poor, you're in this position, because of those Indians, and that's what they said back then. I'm not going to, it's because of them, and and we need to make way and get rid of them so that we can import our slaves, so that you can have slaves for free and you can get on, you can make your money. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, did you guys realize that he actually tried to, when there was a big massive mailing, a propaganda mailing,
Yes,
anti-slavery mailing, he
yes.
actually passed a bill in Congress putting a stop, making it illegal to distribute inflammatory propaganda. Just like Trump is trying to say all media is fake news and trying to shut the media up, and not doing the press corps anymore. Same thing. He's trying to control the narrative, okay, just like Jackson did. What else? Oh, so, he had no problem with Europeans, Jackson. He had no problem with European immigrants. That was also part of his base. Think Gone with the Wind, O'Hara with his big slave plantation. He was all for that. So he wasn't anti-immigrant. He was anti not white immigrant. You know what I mean? So again, just like Trump, he's fine with Melania bringing her trashy behind over here and her parents, but you better not be coming from Mexico, okay? What else? What else? No, but
There's a lot.
yeah, but no, and like you said, not only did he wipe out or try to wipe out an entire indigenous nation, he did so to enslave another.
Yes,
To
yes.
enslave Black
And
people from Africa.
that's a very important point. Like his hatred wasn't just focused on Native Americans. It was, I'm going to get rid of these people that I hate, so I can further enslave these other people over here that I hate and want to dominate in this country. So it was twofold,
Exactly.
twofold.
Yep.
Jackie,
And so for Joe not to recognize that is insane. Is
Yeah.
insane.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joe was playing the "what's happening now" game. Like, Joe has always
Yeah.
been. I'm the defender. I get paid to defend these people. I'm just gonna let you know, a lot of lobbyists who reach out to me. And I think Joe, though, was playing the "we're not delving into history. We're playing the broker game." And I think he focused on Trump so that he didn't have to deal with it. The day began and end in 2016 for Joe, in terms of that statement, in my opinion.
Just say Trump is a racist and call it a day. Like, you don't have to, discount all of these other presidential races that we've had in this country. Just, call out his track record. For all those people that say, where's the proof that Trump is a racist? Do you guys not remember that the Justice Department sued him in the 70s and the 80s because he and his father refused to rent and sell property to Black, and he lost.
5 towns.
Fine. Yes, he's a racist. 100%.
Now, Jackie Robinson did want to mention the other Andrew Johnson, who was the one who helped kill Reconstruction. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Reconstruction, it was the period after slavery where African Americans had a glorious moment where enfranchisement seemed something realistic before Jim Crow kicked in full swing. Also, Chris Newell, there were many trails of tears. All Oklahoma tribes walked there. Each time thousands died. Jackson, in his humble opinion, is a genocidaire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So
yes, absolutely.
One more quick point about Andrew Johnson that most people don't know. Talk about presidents in this country who have been impeached. People like to say that before Trump it was Bill Clinton and Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was not impeached. He resigned before he was impeached. Andrew Johnson was the first president in this country that was impeached.
Yep.
Just a little history out there for folks.
And deserved it.
All right. So I just wanted to make some comments. So of course Trump is extremely racist. I agree with all of you guys. Andrew Jackson, probably the most racist considering the genocide and all the other things that were going on. But, I mean, if we look at Trump and how racist he is, I mean, we talk about we had the Central Park 5. Everybody remember that?
Oh my God, yeah.
Tried to get the death penalty for those innocent young men. He's when he said just recently when he said blacks getting killed, he was interviewed and they said blacks were getting why are blacks
Right.
getting killed by police, and he said, well, white people are getting killed too. He's referred to like the Kung flu, the Chinese flu. Stated his whole campaign started on Mexicans were rapists and murderers, and then of
80
course
is
his support of white nationalists has been obvious throughout.
I want to defend Drumpf a little bit. I don't think Drumpf is as racist as we think he is. I think he gets the "I'm stupid" qualifier, and like all the things that occur to him because he's a PR monster. Like he does not dabble. There's nothing that he does not touch. That's not like I'm just this is my Drumpf argument. He literally has like he's even been super misogynistic. No worries.
That's what Gingy thinks of your argument.
No, this argument might go a little longer now.
If you consider how he kicked off his campaign and how he's dropping those misogynistic, ludicrous actions and comments about his running mates or his competitors, he doesn't just limit it to one group of people. He's just generally a different level of
to your point, I think he's a product of his environment, and he doesn't care. So it's like, this is what I know, this is what I believe, this is what I grew up believing, this is what my father told me, this is what I know. And so all of his actions and reactions are based upon what he knows and what he's learned, but he's not willing to change that. So he's not willing to understand a different point of view, because all of us have had some type of racist ideologies growing up. Our parents might have told us, white people were the devils. I mean, well, that was me growing up. I heard that a lot, or, it was just horrible, gay is a horrible thing and all. And then as we get older, we start to realize how stupid our parents were. The problem is, I don't think Trump ever figured that stuff out because of the environment that he was in.
Sure. Which goes to Ernest's comment. One could argue Trump is the most racist president ever when you consider how socially unacceptable racism, and I like to say in other stuff is now versus back in these times.
That's a great point. If you talk about weighted racism, like if you weighted it, against the times versus now, he's almost as racist as Andrew Jackson in a time when racism is not acceptable.
Again, I would encourage people to look up Andrew Jackson, to look up the Trail of Tears, to look up how, like Winston Churchill, by the way, because there are a lot of people who revere Winston Churchill, who also was a racist and was trying to get rid of an entire group of people, Indians from India. But if you look at Jackson and what he did in this country to Native Americans, it's appalling. And what he did to Native Americans, he also wanted to do to Black people. Like he wasn't going to stop. It was on a continuing spectrum. I don't think we should really get into this argument of who's more racist, who was more, because
it's all arguable.
I mean, it's all arguing. It's all you can argue it, till the cows come home. But the fact of the matter is, Joe was wrong in his statement.
Definitely wrong.
Yeah,
again, I don't want to focus on that. I know you're right.
Joe showed up. Moving along.
We haven't talked about Thomas Jefferson. We have a Jefferson Memorial here. Thomas Jefferson owned slaves. Thomas Jefferson was raping his 14-year-old slave and had children with her, children that he did not free. His own children were slaves.
Are we going to start talking about Hamilton?
All right.
Are we really going to?
All right, let's move on. That's what we do.
Okay.
All right, we can go all night. You're right. All right. All right, guys, that's it for our hot topic. So great discussion all around. Viewers, stick around because we always end our show with a fun game. For today's show, we have Would you rather? We're bringing Would You Rather back. All right. So the way this works is real simple. I'll show two statements on the screen asking, would you rather this or would you rather that? You choose. And the app and the app has calculated the most popular answer. If your answer matches the most popular, you get a point. Jam, you all set with the scoreboard? Jam?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I was all ready for the question.
All right. So for example, this is an example question. Would you rather pull out all your toenails or pull all your hair out? All right. So this is an example. You ready? So we're gonna start.
Hair. Hair.
Not a time response this time. Not a time response. You just answer. Whoever gets the. Oh, what is this? Oh, I have to make a selection. Okay. So, and then, for example, 56 said your hair out. Okay. So here we go.
Me and you, we still got hair. We still got hair.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Where?
All right. Would you rather need glasses to see far away if you had to wear eyeglasses, or need glasses to see close up if you had to wear eyeglasses?
Far away.
Near side.
Far away.
I'm near.
Yeah.
And it's annoying.
Yeah, I would rather need glasses to see close up. Definitely the second one.
I would rather need glasses to see far away. I'm nearsighted, so even when I have my contacts in, I have to take them. I have to look at the paper like this because I can't see anything with those contacts. So
right,
it's
let's see the answer.
I got people to avoid.
Oh man,
that's right. People to avoid, baby.
Our way.
Our way.
Boo.
Boo. Who else? Me and Z. That's right, Z.
Boo.
Because
we got hair. We got hair, and we can see people far away.
And we can see people from across the street.
Right.
Living our best life.
You ain't got no toenails. Run.
All right, so who got points on that? Who got that right? I didn't hear. Oh, you got a Z and Jam? Okay.
Yep.
All right, next. Would you rather drive 200 miles well over the legal drunken limit, or 200 miles after being awake for 72 hours straight?
Oh my God.
Legal drunken limit. Legal drunken limit.
Yeah, me too, because I'll be fearless. I hate to drive.
Straight. That's a different type of drunk. That's a
I wouldn't want
different
to
type
do
of
either, but I'm going to pick.
Right, that is bad decision making.
I know.
I won't get as many charges when I kill someone for purple.
I think I'm going to pick drive over the drunken limit. What do you pick, Jam?
72 hours.
All right, let's see. Oh, Jam. Jam gets the point.
Oh, Jam. What?
All right.
You're right, though. You're right about those charges.
What the hell is a Montague and a Capulet? Okay, we're skipping that one.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
I don't know it.
Shakespeare.
Romeo and Juliet.
I don't know what it is. We're skipping it. All right. Would you rather eat a container of Flintstone vitamins or drink a bottle of Pepto-Bismol?
Flintstone.
I'm doing Flintstone.
Flintstones
all the way. Oh yeah, that's an easy one. We all get points.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a real question.
So you remember the grape ones? The grape ones were the best.
They were tasty.
All right. Would you rather be stung by 20 bees in random locations, or have each shin kicked 10 times hard?
I'm allergic to bees, so I would die. So I'm gonna go with the kicking in the shins.
Me too.
I'm doing the bees.
Me too.
I think I'm allergic to bees.
Shin kicking, but I remember that dude playing basketball. Remember when he landed and his leg broke in like 2 places?
Oh.
That sounds
remember that?
I don't like shin kicking.
That's not a shin kick. That's something completely different.
I don't know.
So what's your answer, Jam?
Purple.
All right.
Shins.
All right. Damn, you running away with it. All right. Next point for Jam wins. We got to stop Jam from getting it right.
Easy cheater.
It's not me cheating this time. It's not me.
Anyone else do shit on the last one?
All right. Would you rather have always have messy, unkept hair, or always have stains on your clothes?
Me too. Yes, messy, unkept hair.
I'm sorry, messy, unkept hair. Messy, unkept
I'm glad
hair.
I'm going with the messy, unkept hair because you know.
Messy hair. Messy.
Yay! All right. So Jam, you take this. You take it. You win. Good job,
right.
Jam. Yay!
Woo!
Yeah.
That's
Good
2 in a
job.
row for you. That's 2 in a row.
Yeah. Haters gonna hate. Keep hating. Keep hating.
I think the ladies should pick the next game because these games are rigged, yo.
Thank
Oh, wow.
So as always, the winner gets the final thought for the game. So for the day. So Jam, get your thought ready.
All right. I'll get it ready.
So before we close out, let's get in some shout out.
All right. Definitely shout out to Jackie Robinson, George Villarreal, Chris Newell. Who else we got? Oh, Kevin. How can we reach you, Kevin? Victor, I'm gonna shout you out, but you're a bit of a Bama. And what we got? Rebecca, thank
George.
you so much. Ty, Ernest. What else
Brooklyn
y'all
was
got?
on. Mel. So I have a shout out for Rob B again. His band Fallen Machine premiered their new single on Friday. Make sure you check out our Facebook page. We'll post it there.
All right, Rob.
And he'll
Rob
be
will be
hosting with us Wednesday.
Yes.
So we'll play his song on Wednesday when he hosts with us. So we'll play the whole thing. So any other shout outs, Z?
I wanna shout out my girl Yvette. I saw she was online watching. I miss you. She's my old spin instructor from the city. I miss you, girl. And I also want to shout out my younger sister Yami. She hooked up my nails over the weekend, so I look human again. I got
those are
I got a
nice. Look at
manicure.
that. Good job, Yami.
Nice.
Girl, you see
So-
people nub. I look a mess. Horrible.
Lizzie, you
So
got any
jealous.
shout outs? Anybody you want to shout out, Lizzie?
Luna V.
Oh,
Luna V
shout
underscore
out
nails.
everybody that has been supporting us thus far, both online, on Facebook, on Twitter, although y'all could do better on Twitter, and on Instagram.
Yeah, we need some followers on Twitter. Get on Twitter, guys. Get on Twitter and follow us.
We thank you for engaging with us and tuning in to us. So just shout out all of our fans out there.
Yep. All right, so that's our show for today.
All
I want to
right.
thank all you guys for joining us. We hope you had a good time, maybe gained a new perspective, learned something. Don't forget, as Lizzie was saying, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe at TLS Live Show and www.tlslive.show. We always have great discussions on our Facebook page, so you gotta go to the Facebook page. Liz is an amazing moderator for the page, so a lot of great discussions always happening.
Just, if you come to our Facebook page, be respectful.
Respectful,
Be respectful.
Yes,
Good
yes,
point.
yes.
If you missed any part of our show, we'll be rebroadcasting throughout the week, and our next live show will be Wednesday, 8 p.m. with myself, Lizzie, East, and Rob B. And don't be
Rob
afraid to get on the Facebook page, guys, and let us know what topics you'd like to hear about on Wednesday's show. Since Lizzie is moderating, we'll be paying attention to what you are asking for. So, the final thought goes to Jam.
Yeah.
All right. I need to everybody take a moment of silence. A friend of mine, their snake wasn't acting right. I know it's just a snake. Wasn't doing anything snakes do, I guess. They were trying to feed it. Wasn't doing its stuff. It wasn't rearing up, doing its thing. Took it to the vet. The vet looked at it, shook it once, and said, I'm not quite sure what's wrong, but I think you have reptile dysfunction.
Oh my God.
Oh, God. Really?
You
Never go with
it,
y'all.
brother.
Oh, my God. Is
No.
that what we're talking about?
No.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.